You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. Football is a we thing, an experience that is best enjoyed together with good drinks and good people. Smirnoff is the world's #1 vodka and is an official vodka partner of the NFL. And this year, Smirnoff is giving fans in select areas of the country a chance to win the ultimate game day experience. From tickets to sideline passes and much more, just head to WeDoGameDays.com until November 15, 2024 to enter for your chance to win. That's WeDoGameDays.com. Smirnoff, we do game days.
Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff number 21 vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age. No purchase necessary. 21 plus. Ends November 15, 2024. See rules at website for participating area and other important details. Sponsored by Diageo Americas Inc., New York, New York.
Football season is here, and there's absolutely nothing better than game day. But it can be a little bit stressful. You're placing bets, you're setting fantasy lineups, you're figuring out the most comfortable position to sit on your couch for the next 12 hours. No one has time to think about this part. Cooking. Well, thanks to DoorDash, you don't have to worry about that. DoorDash is the best place to order all your game day favorites. Chicken wings, nachos, burgers, dogs, hey, maybe even a little chips and guac, something like that. Get a little salsa in there. It can all be delivered with DoorDash. So this football season, don't stress about the cooking. Kick back and enjoy game day thanks to DoorDash. DoorDash, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
We have a song to play for you in a moment because the University of Miami's comeback victory that David Sampson was not impressed by is now producing multiple songs around here. We have a top 5 list of ways you could die that David Sampson would not excuse or feel any sympathy for that we're going to get to in a second. But before I do that, can I just put up a photo real quick of Tony doing, I don't know whether he was doing MMA stuff this weekend or whether he was doing post-football stuff. But what are we now calling the mechanic's undershirt that he is wearing there so that I can tell the audio audience what kind of shirt that is without calling it what it used to be called, which I assume is not something that you can say anymore. Mechanic's undershirt? What kind of shirt is that he's wearing there?
A tank top undershirt.
Okay.
Yep.
Tank top undershirt. He's trying to be sensual there, correct? Because that is dressed down in a way I've never seen a media member dress down when representing himself publicly. Have you guys seen that before?
I have.
Pat McAfee did that for a long time. Finally, he's gotten away from it, thank God.
Well, but tank tops, he's doing tank tops that are worn on the outside. What he's doing is the Cuban Hispanic. This is an undershirt. This is the equivalent of male Latin pajamas, basically. This is not a shirt you wear as a tank top to exercise. This is an undershirt. I've got this correct, right? Or has fashion moved away from me?
Once again, though, he pulls it off, though. It's annoying.
Does he?
I think he does.
He does. Yeah. I pull it off.
Greg's right. I mean, McAfee does have this. But if Tony's wearing like a large belt, then he's copying McAfee because it is a different color undershirt.
If he starts working the crowd in his studio.
The difference in our confidence levels is that I'll wear that tank top underneath an open shirt and still feel self-conscious about the fact that I'm wearing that.
My father, the reason I legitimately associate that with another time in Hispanic fatherhood, because that is exactly how my father always wandered around the house wearing that and his underwear. Like that's what my father had underneath his clothes, not as clothes. That
he would never dare walk outside just wearing that.
He would not be allowed outside because that is private, intimate time. He certainly wouldn't do a national broadcast, representing himself as a media member in, a Latin undershirt.
I want to address Tony and all men who would wear that shirt in public. Don't do it. Okay? If you're wandering around the house, that's fine. If it's 85 degrees and you're mowing your lawn out front, maybe you wear that. I don't want to see it in a restaurant. It's unprofessional to wear it in a work setting. The last thing I want to see is another guy's armpits when he's ordering food in a restaurant. And yet you see that sometimes. Have a little decorum. I'm not saying you got to dress up. You don't have to wear a necktie or a jacket to do what Tony's doing right there. But don't wear a tank top. It's ridiculous. Shred 'em! Am I wrong? And I'm not singling out Tony. I'm talking about.
Seems like you are.
I see guys. Seriously, I see guys walking into restaurants dressed like that. Shred 'em!
I was actually watching the local news last night, Greg, because I was watching your buddy Phil Farrow do the weather report.
Love
Jer
Phil.
Bear, and a story came on about 2 women that were kicked off a Spirit Airlines flight for wearing crop tops, and the flight attendants told them that their shirts were too short and were showing too much midriff, I guess. So they got kicked off their flight. And they were on the local news talking about it, and Spirit Airlines hasn't really made it up to them yet. So curious to see what happens there, but kind of ridiculous.
That's absurd. That's 1920s America, where a woman couldn't wear a bathing suit that was higher than 5 inches off the knee. I mean, what century is this that you're kicking women off an airline for wearing a crop top? And you could argue that maybe that's the female equivalent of that. I say no. Shred 'em!
You did contradict yourself. You just told Tony.
Really
Tony how to dress.
Completely flipped it.
Right. How to dress professionally.
Right.
Men, we can tell men how to dress, but not women.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I'm not the arbiter of taste. I'm the arbiter of my own opinion.
Yep.
And in my opinion, you don't show up in a professional setting dressed like that, and unless maybe you're a WWE wrestler and you want to. You want to have a persona as Tank Top Man or something like that.
Shred 'em!
But
Tank Top Tony.
Just to be clear, you would be okay with him wearing that on a flight?
I would not.
Oh.
Shred 'em! No. I would not. You don't wear a tank top on a flight. No. What? You don't do that. Because I'm sitting next to you. I don't want to see your armpit. I just don't. Excuse me, could I have another drink? And then what am I looking at here? Come on. Shred 'em! Ridiculous.
How do you feel about flip-flops?
They're fine.
Who raises their hand on an airplane asking for drinks?
I don't know.
No one.
That kind of thing.
You're wearing skinny jeans.
Yeah, but against my will. I didn't realize they were skinny jeans until I tried them on.
Right.
The first thing I thought, have I gained 40 pounds in the last week? Have my legs gotten fat? And then I look at the tag and it actually says skinny jeans on it. I don't know what happened there. I didn't buy them.
Before we get to David Sampson's top 5 ways you could die that he would have no sympathy for, I want to play totally reasonable, rational Alabama callers to the Paul Finebaum show. Alabama callers reacting to Nick Saban leaving, and then you lose to Vanderbilt. I'm sure they're totally reasonable about this.
They got what they deserve. If the coach does not reprimand or sit number 13, he's got bigger fish to fry.
At least I didn't play like Malachi Moore and act like a little brat. Hey, man, get your call up, legend. We don't want to hear none of that crying. We don't want to hear nothing fire the ball. We won't hear nothing about the defense. It's the players. You tell them to run, play football, and quit counting money.
It's the game. We lost it. 40 years down. That'll be the point. But Georgia fans ain't got nothing to holler about. Hell, if Vanderbilt beat us, then we beat Georgia. So, but I heard what you said to Stephen A. Smith. I sure did, Paul Finebaum. Every damn chance you get, you take the cheapest shot. The man talk, let him talk. If you don't want him on a damn show, don't get him on there.
Isn't it amazing when the Urban Meyers and the Harsons and the DeBoers and all these other guys come in from around the country? They just don't get Southeastern football. They don't understand the religion, Paul. They don't understand the dedication. They don't understand the terminology. They don't understand the opponents.
When's the last time Saban lost to Vanderbilt? When was that? How about never? Damn.
Take it like a man. You got your butt whooped. Y'all keep talking about DeBoer. Well, hey, what about our defensive coordinator here?
All I can tell you is, Drink, you need to wake up and smell the coffee. I really don't have anything else to add today. It was bad news, quite frankly. Goodbye.
Hey, a lot of Bama fans are saying today was Georgia's daddy. And they said daddy doesn't Kellen DeBoer was Georgia's stepdaddy. So guess what? Vandy is the milkman. So he came and whooped that tail, he handled his business, and he went out his way and took that field goal down to the river. Go Tigers, Paul. Y'all have a great day.
Paul, I'm in sports hell, brother. I'm in sports hell. I never thought I would utter these words. Vandy is my daddy. Can you believe that? Do you hear that, Coach DeBoer? That don't piss you off, dude. It pisses me off. It pisses me off, Coach DeBoer. Alabama don't lose to Vandy. We don't lose to Vandy.
Those accents seem like Hank Azaria doing voices. How you would impersonate the Deep South getting mad at Alabama losing a football game. Can you guys tell me whether you understand or embrace the idea that someone who is hostile and angry tells you to wake up and smell the coffee? Seriously, I'm serious about the idea of why are you aggressively telling me to smell the coffee? Does this seem to you like something that would work by way of insult?
Well, it further wakes you up. You wake up, then you have to smell the coffee, then you really feel alive, Dad,
Correct.
I would give anything to smell the coffee.
He lost his sense of taste and smell after getting the coronavirus, so he can't smell much of anything.
Luckily for David, I've been farting in here all day.
Can you get me some more of that last caller legend, the last caller to Paul Finebaum show?
Let me say this to all Alabama fans, because I've caught some flight today, and I can take it. That's why they call me the legend. I can take it. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. I love the kitchen. So let's get that right. I'll ride and die with the Crimson Tide. I don't care to go back and get Mike Shula the coach. I'm going to be with Alabama every friggin' game. But that don't mean I can't be pissed at what I seen Saturday on the field. Bill Curry didn't lose to Vandy. Mike DeBose didn't lose to Vandy. Mike Shula didn't lose to Vandy. 40 years. You've been here 4 weeks and you already lost to Vandy. Let me tell you how pissed I am, Paul. Can I tell you, brother?
Wish you would. Go right ahead.
My neighbor gave me a picture of Coach DeBoer last Thursday, a signed picture, 8x12 in a frame, and I put it in the fire pit Saturday night at midnight and set a match to it.
You burned it.
I've had people tell me today, well, Coach Saban lost his first-year legend. I said, man, don't even come at me with that bull crap, because that's a bunch of baloney. John Parker Wilson was the quarterback for Nick Saban's first year. You got the Heisman Trophy frontrunner, Lynn Swann, out there at wide receiver, and you get beat by Vandy. It's pathetic, dude. It's pathetic. You better wake the hell up and realize where you at, because we don't play that down here, brother. You might get away with that in Washington, but down here in Alabama, we don't play that. We'll send a U-Haul to your ass if you lose to South Carolina. You better start worrying about last week's game and get your ass focused on the game coming up at Alabama. The honeymoon's over. Wake the hell up. You know what this is equivalent to?
What's that?
This is equivalent to coming home and finding your wife in bed with the neighbor. And I'll say this with this. Me and K-Dub both agree. You could never trust her again. You might stay with her for the kid's sake, but you could never trust the woman again. And the same thing's true with Coach DeBoer. You can win a natty, we can't trust your ass now. You don't lose to Vanderbilt. That's the ugliest little sister on the block. I ain't seen a cornerback blitz. I ain't seen a safety blitz. We just let this little guy, this little 5'8" Johnny Manziel, sit back in the pocket and make a fool out of Alabama.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Somebody get me Pete Golden on the phone. See if we can get Pete Golden's ass back down here. Because your ass sorry than Pete Golden's, dude. It is friggin' pathetic. Understand, Coach DeBoer. Wake the hell up. We don't lose to Vandy. Strike friggin' one. The honeymoon's over, and we need some damn marriage counseling. Legend has left the damn building.
A lot of wake the hell up there. Put it on the poll. Is Paul Finebaum therapy for people who would never be caught in therapy?
Stugotz here. The most important things in my life are my wife, my children, and of course, their safety. That's why I've had Simply Safe Home Security in my house for 7 years now. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim it. Whether it's setting the alarms before we all go to bed or setting that alarm before we go on another vacation, Simply Safe gives me amazing peace of mind. Simply Safe provides faster response for better protection with Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. Batard Show listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Don Batard.
Baker Mayfield tearing up Tampa Bay, 38-for-45.
Stugotz.
Shred 'em!
This is the Don Batard Show with the Stugotz.
David, are you ready to do your top 5 list of ways people could die that you would have no sympathy for?
Yes, but did that not remind you of the oral history? And I know the second episode has come out, and I encourage everyone to listen to it if you are a fan or not even a fan, or you're new to the Dan Le Batard Show. But when you started, you and Stugotz, I thought you had callers just like that, who were characters in your universe. Am I the only one? I couldn't understand what he was saying, but he was obviously, that was a plant as the show, which is how you started your show, no?
That's not a plant. No, those are the callers. No. Paul Finebaum's callers are all like that. Mm-hmm. That is what he takes all day, every day, and he's built an empire on
Our callers would mock his callers. I mean,
but at the beginning, most sports radio callers are something like that. They're just venting. A whole empire of media was built atop the rage of somebody who's lost a game they didn't expect to lose and needed to call somebody to talk about it with.
Is that where you developed your therapy couch? Because if that is a call that I keep thinking that's how you started. That's why we're all here. Is because of a call like that.
I remember Hank Goldberg in this market famously used to take calls like that.
Yes.
But then argue with the people who were calling him.
Yes, he would make them very entertaining.
Okay, so you guys are arguing or talking right now about the history of sports radio? Like, yes. That's they farm out to the audience calls
and engage with the caller.
And it's the lowest form of entertainment where you outsource to Hector on a mobile. Hey, will you do my job for me? And then you argue with the caller. Yes, that is the definition of sports radio. You guys are just learning about this.
I mean, DeBoer beat Georgia.
But he lost to Vanderbilt.
Last week.
I know.
Last week, Alabama felt so much better than that, and it's just because it's Vanderbilt. If you lose the game 40-35 like that to anybody other than Vanderbilt, it would not be this reaction. It's because nobody respects Vanderbilt.
The honeymoon's over, and we need some damn marriage counseling.
David, do you have any OLI for your top 5 list of ways people can die that you would have no sympathy for?
This is me trying to improve myself. No, because there's only 5.
All right.
That's it.
Number 5.
Interesting.
Rowing across the ocean.
You deserve it. Yeah.
You deserve it. If you die, just don't do it.
Like to set a record or something?
No, just doing it.
Okay, but but for fun, or you're trying to set a record by,
You just want to be one of the people that rowed across the ocean.
What about a large lake? What if I row across a large lake?
I would feel badly if you died.
Yeah, I would too.
Not rowing in general. You're just talking about a length that would be record-breaking.
I'm talking about 15-foot swells. It's called the ocean.
Okay, it is called the ocean.
What about Great Lakes?
Wouldn't feel badly.
Right. Any lake. So right.
That's a big lake.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Great Lake.
It's a great lake. There's only 5.
But what about like Okeechobee?
Isn't that our drinking water?
I don't know.
I'd rather you not row in that.
Okay.
Number 4.
Climbing a mountain without ropes like Free Solo.
That's right.
It is what it is. You're signing up for it.
Yeah.
What is the distinction you're making between that and you climbing Kilimanjaro?
The angle of Kilimanjaro, there's no place on Kilimanjaro where if I lose my footing, I will fall 10 stories to my death.
And the ropes.
And the ropes.
Yes.
And the ropes.
Right.
People do die climbing Kilimanjaro, do they not?
Yes, but that's more of an oxygen thing than oh my God, I just fell down 100 stories.
That's actually a good point because you have climbed Kilimanjaro. If you had died, would you want people to feel bad for you? Would you understand if we were like, well, he deserved that because he shouldn't have done it?
I would have wanted you to feel badly for me. Because not Everest. Now, Everest, if you die, I don't feel badly for you. That's an OLI, I guess.
With ropes?
Because it is an OLI. Because it's more dangerous. My father had said this the other day for some reason. I mentioned on the show that he said out of nowhere that Sonny Bono died by skiing and going into a tree. And he looks at me and he says, you know what? I'll never die that way. That's the way I would never die. I would think a lot of people listening to this would say, you know, I'll never die climbing Kilimanjaro. And if David died that way, I might not feel bad for him because you know what you don't do? Risk the oxygen being lost as you climb Kilimanjaro.
But he's also doing it with ropes. So if it's faulty equipment, then you feel bad for David Sampson. If he does it without ropes, then you don't feel bad for David.
He's not doing it with ropes.
Right.
This is not the kind of climbing of mountains that he's doing. He's just trekking in like hiking boots.
There's no chalk on my hands.
I got news for you. If I'm climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, I'm bringing a rope, just in case.
Yep.
Rope-a-dope.
Yep.
Number 3.
Driving without a seatbelt.
Oh, wow.
Like, what if I just forgot?
Man.
Where'd that
I don't. I
feel
always
badly
wear
for
it.
you.
What if the seatbelt just didn't work? What if you were driving to get the seatbelt repaired and all of a sudden you got into a car accident?
Oh, wow.
How do you prove that exactly?
I mean,
You demand proof from the corpse.
loophole.
Number 2.
Skydiving.
I'm with him on this one.
Yeah, with
Sorry,
Yeah.
parachute didn't open. Uh-oh.
You're jumping out of a plane.
What if it was Tony when he went skydiving a couple years ago?
I've gone skydiving many
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
Did he skydive in a tank top, Tony?
Number 1. Good contribution.
Dying in a plane crash in a plane that you built in a box. There are people who build planes out of a box and then fly them.
You can't do that.
Say, oh my God, I just died.
A plane in a box?
Yes.
Who flies a plane built in a box?
No, he's right about that, but the hurricane thing wasn't on this.
Because I'm beginning to maybe feel badly if anyone dies in a hurricane.
I have a nomination. Good timing for that. If you're walking along one of those long bridges that like bounces that you're walking on it, give me an example of one of these. I don't know of an example. It's just, you know what I'm talking about. It's like there's one piece of land and then one piece of land, and for some reason there's a really skinny bridge that like moves a lot while you're on it. If you die on one of those things, don't feel
in
bad.
every animated movie. That's,
Yes.
I think, what you're talking about.
What if you're trying to get like a social media shot from a tall building and you fall to your death?
No.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I hate those videos on the
OLI?
internet of like some guy at like a top of a skyscraper just like taking a selfie. It's like
Scary.
not worth it, dude. I know you have like 17 million views on this, so you probably got paid, but still not worth it.
I got tons more. The people who fall into the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
Not going to feel badly for you.
So you have a top 10 now.
I feel bad for people who have falls, generally.
Yeah.
Taking a photo of themselves.
Could just be that they slipped, lost their footing. I feel bad about
Here's
that.
another one. Getting hit by a train.
I'm with him.
What?
Yes.
What about Brightline?
It's
You don't
a
go on the
train.
tracks.
Why are you near a track? Even if you're hard of hearing and you say, oh, I didn't hear the train, why are you on a train track?
I'm just curious. Do you guys have limits on empathy? Like, do you have,
Yes,
if
they
you
do.
give up a certain amount of empathy, you can't have any more? So somebody, you know what? I'm okay if you die near the train tracks, but if you get hit by the train, that's where I draw the line. That's the place that I'm not going to feel bad for you. Even if it's my wife, even if it's my child, not going to feel bad for you because you deserve it.
If you go places you're not supposed to go, we're saying we don't feel bad for you if the worst case scenario happens.
All right, Dianna Russini is with us now. No, I'm not unfamiliar with what it is you guys are saying. Yes, I
Just wanted
find
to clear it up, Dianna.
I find it literally careless. Yes, I understand. You do not care. People die from a mistake, and you guys wouldn't make mistakes.
Not like that.
I mean, the mistake is walking on a train track. I mean, you don't do it. There's third rail. There's a lot of stuff that could happen.
Come on.
I mean,
the train's going faster than you are, buddy. Stay away from the track.
Yeah.
Jack.
Tracks are for trains, not people, Dan.
Football season is here, and there's absolutely nothing better than game day. But it can be a little bit stressful. You're placing bets, you're setting fantasy lineups, you're figuring out the most comfortable position to sit on your couch for the next 12 hours. No one has time to think about this part. Cooking. Well, thanks to DoorDash, you don't have to worry about that. DoorDash is the best place to order all your game day favorites. Chicken wings, nachos, burgers, dogs, hey, maybe even little chips and guac, something like that. Get a little salsa in there. It can all be delivered with DoorDash. So this football season, don't stress about the cooking. Kick back and enjoy game day thanks to DoorDash. DoorDash, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites.
This episode is brought to you by Allstate. Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have the tickets in your wallet first before you drive 2 hours to the big game. Seriously, you had one job. Now the closest you'll get to the 50-yard line is parking lot D. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Northbrook, Illinois.
Dan Batard.
I heard that as a woman faking pain. I didn't think that sounded real. I really didn't,
It was not fake. It was in no way fake.
Yeah.
You can spot a woman faking it?
Stugotz.
Yes, I can, Jess.
Expert.
I've been married 40 years.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Dianna Russini is with us now. She's the senior NFL insider for The Athletic. She's got a great podcast called Scoop City. It's co-hosted with Chase Daniel. You can check out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Dianna, would you like to pick up this conversation with us? Where do you side on not having any sympathy, not having any empathy for the dead?
Yeah, pretty cold of everyone there. I sympathize because I'm pretty flaky myself. So while I don't think people intentionally are putting themselves in those positions, I just don't think they're thinking about, oh my gosh, I could probably die. Like I take the subway a lot and I stand very, very close to the end of the platform there. Someone could easily push me. I could fall. I'm always on my phone. I'm surprised I haven't even done that yet. So it's not that I haven't thought about it. I'm just not thinking about it at that moment. So yeah, I have, especially the selfie people. I always feel so bad for them. They're just trying to capture the moment. It's so hard out there on social media. I get it. You want to grab the shot, and these people are willing to put their lives on the line for this. I mean, I feel really bad for them.
But someone pushing you would be murder, and I would feel bad for you. I would.
Yeah, for sure.
But what if I tripped?
I'd feel bad for you.
Don't go near train tracks.
No, but if she tripped onto the train track, then I would feel bad for her. She's not intentionally walking onto the train track.
Were you on the yellow line or behind it?
What if I was texting or tweeting a Devontae Adams story?
Yeah, the sympathy decreases at that point.
Yeah.
I think the point is there's some gray area here. Perhaps we shouldn't just blanketly say we don't feel bad for other people when they die in horrible accidents.
What about Jack Dougherty? He was texting and he got into the car crash.
I almost brought that up, actually. That was absurd.
So I don't feel badly if he had croaked doing that.
Wow.
So what have we decided is the dumbest way to die?
I don't think we've come up with a decision just yet, but skydiving seemed to be amongst everybody here. It seemed to be the highest ranking form of death that would elicit no sympathy from anybody. In all instances, anyone dies, I feel for them and their loved ones. Like that's, I'm not putting a cap on how much I care about people.
Or how they die.
What if they're bungee jumping off a rocky cliff?
Yeah.
Again, adventure seekers. And how about those flying squirrel costumes that people do that seem like an amazing adrenaline rush as you're very close to the edges of mountains and you feel like a superhero for a moment? I'm sure many people die that way, and those people are living life more fancifully than I am.
And dying ridiculously.
Yeah.
Guys, we have breaking news right now. Adam Schefter tweeted 2 minutes ago, ESPN sources, Jets fire head coach Robert Saleh.
What?
Oh, Dianna is reacting to this.
She's on with us.
We've got an insider right now who is looking at this. Her mouth is open. We have a natural in the wild video of Dianna getting the news from her phone. She's too busy talking with us about stupid shit.
Do you think Belichick called? I mean,
we ruined Diana's morning.
Did you miss a text with us, Dianna?
She's got to go. She's got to go.
We were talking about the lack of empathy for the dead.
Oh, Schefter scooped her.
We are wasting her time.
Do we feel bad for Robert Saleh?
We have to feel bad
for Dianna.
I feel bad for Dianna.
Crazy.
Of course.
That's terrible.
In the middle of Dan clarifying, you know what? When people die, I feel bad for them. This news happened.
In a flying squirrel suit. That's
so
what we were talking about.
She just bailed.
We'll see
She has
whether
to.
or not she comes back. While we wait for her, Stugotz, your thoughts on not only the Jets firing Robert Saleh, but as
She's back. Hold on. I want to see this.
All right,
the working of
hold
the
on.
phones right now.
I spelled it wrong.
Oh, man. Who? What?
Okay, she is.
I'm with you. Is there an E at the end? An A?
right.
Saleh?
I don't
Saleh?
like viewing this. I feel uncomfortable.
I knew this
watching
was going to happen.
Diana,
I knew
should-
this was going to happen.
Should we stop? Like, do you want to get off camera
Okay,
here? You're back. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
okay, what do you guys want to know?
What happened?
Well, tell us what it is that's happening right now, and I don't feel good viewing you in the wild this way. Your stress shouldn't be.
These are things I don't want to see.
Your anxiety shouldn't be videoed by us.
No, it's fine. It's fine. This is the job. I love this stuff, guys. I don't love people getting fired, but look, this doesn't come as a extreme shock. The only thing that is maybe catching me off guard a little bit on this is they decided to run it back this year with Robert Saleh. Woody Johnson made that decision himself, right? There were definitely some people in that building suggesting they move on from Robert Saleh after last year's disaster. We did tons of reporting on just a lot of issues that they were having in that building outside of the fact that Aaron Rodgers was injured. There was just really bad coaching decisions being made. We've seen it, and it bled into this year. So I'm surprised when they had an opportunity to do it, they didn't do it when you do it at the start of the season. So obviously coming back from London's bad, guys. Losing in London is no good. This is where all the problems start. I think it's the long flight. I think it's the embarrassment on international television. It's everything. The Jets have been focused on trying to get Devontae Adams in that building. I think Robert Saleh has been trying to do essentially what he thinks is going to be best for Aaron Rodgers in all of this. Aaron obviously has all the power in that organization. So now, we see Robert Saleh's been let go here, and I'm trying to just find out who's going to be the interim here. So that's what we're going to work on next. But you have to wonder, do you go with someone already on? There is nobody, maybe Jeff Ulbrich, the defensive coordinator, who's done a really good job. I know the players love him. Is that the right fit?
I think it'd be Hackett. I think it would be Hackett if they go that route.
Stu, it's not Hackett.
Well, if he's running the organization, Diana, that's his best friend. So I could see, I could envision a scenario in which he promotes Nathaniel Hackett, the head coach, and they go on, and he wants to have a good season for his friend. I could see that happening.
Stu, no.
Okay.
Look, I'll come back on if that gets me. If I get this information right now that that's the truth, I'll stay on for the whole show and we can discuss how ridiculous that is.
Okay.
But look, does Woody Johnson call Andrew Berry in Cleveland right now and say, "Give me Mike Vrabel, bring him in here, clean this up right now"? Like, can you make this team better?
Do you fire him without knowing what you're going to do? Wouldn't you already know what you're going to do? And of course, Belichick's available.
Bill Belichick is available.
Yep.
Dianna, let me stop you for a second.
Yeah.
Why don't you go do your job and we'll check back in with you? Do you want to go do your job so that we're not in your way?
Dan, I appreciate that. Can you guys give me 10? I just
go do your job.
If you need to.
You know what? In fact, just turn her sound down so we can watch her and just watch her go crazy. Put her in picture, and so we can watch her be nuts. And we will talk about this because Stugotz, you are a Jets fan, and I haven't talked to you about what happened on Sunday, which is Robert Saleh just got fired because Aaron Rodgers was terrible. And they've given Aaron Rodgers all of the power in the organization. And the last 2 weeks, they needed somebody to win the game at the end, and he couldn't do it. They were good enough to be in both of those games at the end.
Yep.
They missed a field goal, and then they lose against an undefeated Minnesota team because he can't close off the drive. So tell us how it is that you're feeling as a Jets fan. You've been talking for a while about Saleh needs to be gone.
Yeah, and it's interesting because not only did you lose that game, you lost it to Sam Darnold, who was a quarterback you drafted in the top 5 of the NFL draft, and he didn't play that well, and you still lost that game. And Aaron has to finish those games off. I said this last week. I've been watching that Jet game for 40 years, and what I expected to be different was, I have a great quarterback now. They're going to finish these games. They're going to finish every one of these games, and they haven't been able to do so. You're all in with Aaron Rodgers. So if Rodgers doesn't want Saleh there, why would you keep the coach around when a guy like Belichick or Vrabel is available and wanting to coach? I like the move. I think the Jets had to do it because Aaron Rodgers wanted them to do it, and they're all in with Aaron Rodgers. I'm good with that.
So when you're doing a midseason firing like this, there's only one of two ways. Either the owner goes to the GM and says, we're firing the manager today. That's it. I won't do it. I'm not going to watch this guy coach my team one more time. Or the main player on your team,
it was the main player,
goes to the owner and says, you're going to blow the season. We've got to do it now before it's too late. I think those are the only two possibilities. And in the Jets case, I think it's more Rodgers to Johnson because Johnson, this is not his MO.
No.
To do something in the middle of the season. So I think this is more Rodgers trying to cover up his inadequacies at 41 by saying, listen, we're going to blame Saleh for this because I'm not playing well enough.
Is it fair to say that the Aaron Rodgers experiment is failing? It seems to me it is. You can't.
They have a game Monday night for first place. I mean, if they win the game, they're in first place. It's been a while since I could say that.
Okay,
Greg.
Unexpectedly, it's turned into a shit division.
Right.
Pardon my French. But it just, you can't fault him for being injured all last season. But you can look at him this year and say, you know what? He's got a legit number one receiver. He's got a good running back. Why aren't they scoring more? Why is he not closing games? Why isn't he not winning a couple of games that were very winnable? I'm not saying it's a failure right now. I'm saying at some point, when does a Jet fan say the Aaron Rodgers thing ain't working?
It's also very curious because Saleh is he's a defensive coach, right? And their defense, they're a little shaky at times this season, but they're still rated top 5 in a lot of key categories.
They've been fine.
On defense.
Yeah, the problem's been Aaron.
Certainly not the reason that they lost on Sunday.
But that's why this is interesting, because the problem has been Aaron Rodgers and not Robert Saleh, and Woody Johnson sided with the quarterback and not the coach.
Stugotz is saying here that Sam Darnold didn't play well on Sunday. He didn't play well because that Jets defense is really good.
Right, and the guy responsible for that is gone.
Aaron Rodgers has as many points through 5 games as Zach Wilson did last year. And we remember that they ran Zach Wilson out of town. If the bottom line is point scoring,
you understand how it is that Aaron Rodgers would get most of the blame on what it is that's happening here, because 3 interceptions in a game, and not just that. I don't know if you felt this on Sunday, Stugotz. It felt familiar, the way that he was getting battered at his age, to seeing the way that Brett Favre was getting hit around the same age when he could no longer move around the pocket the way that he could when he was younger.
Right.
And you can see that the speed of the game on a 40-year-old, you can all see, they don't all get to age like Brady just because we're in the age of LeBron James can play into his 40s and Dianna Taurasi can play into her 40s. Not everyone gets to age into their 40s. Most quarterbacks by 38 are done.
But Dan, we're 3 weeks removed from Rodgers just picking apart a good Patriots defense. Like, he was fantastic. And people were saying after that game, I was saying after that game, that's the best game I've seen a Jet quarterback play in my entire life. He was so good in that game.
The last 2 games that I have seen of Aaron Rodgers, all I see is 4-yard passes. All I see is slants and checkdowns and nothing down the field. When you have a number 1 receiver that I've been told is a down-the-field threat.
Yeah.
And Mike Williams, when he was a number 2 with the Chargers, was formidable, and as a 2 or a 3 with the Jets, hasn't done much of anything. There has been a power struggle in New York, and your quarterback just won it. They have given over the entirety of the organization over to him. He's had sparks with Saleh, right and left, Stugotz. There have been little public sparks with Saleh.
Shove.
And now, as David Sampson says, it's a rare thing for someone to do this mid-season or this early in the season when you're playing.
It's a rare thing for this owner to do it, that's for sure.
But of course, it's win now, right now, because of Aaron Rodgers' age.
As it should be.
The thing that I wanted to say to you, as Dianna Russini got a little bit surprised by that while we were on the air with her, I just don't think that you do this unless you know what you're doing next. Like, you don't just fire him without knowing what the next news is.
According to Zach Rosenblatt from The Athletic, Jeff Ulbrich will be the interim coach. So he's the defensive coordinator, now the interim coach. Apparently, according to Zach, he's beloved by the entire Jets roster and staff.
Well, that always works.
So it's not Hackett, huh?
This makes me wonder. This really does make me wonder about what happened on Sunday between Rodgers and Saleh that would make Rodgers just go to the owner and say, "Get him out of here. This isn't working because of what's happening with the coach."
Did you see those overthrow interceptions I had? Get him out of here.
Well, it started in the preseason, right, with them announcing that Rodgers was missing camp and going to Egypt. Like, that's where it started in terms of the bad relationship.
There could have been a Girardi here, though. Let's not say that it couldn't have happened. There's a chance that Saleh did something to Woody that just Woody said that you may not, that's a line you may not cross. A Girardi is when your manager does something to your owner that's the end of it. You get fired that second.
Like, hey, this quarterback's not very good. Why did you guys trade for him?
Get out of here.
There is also another possibility, which is that on the long trip to London, they only had one option for in-flight entertainment that the head coach chose, and Aaron Rodgers did not like it. They ended up watching some really terrible movie on the way there. So I wouldn't rule that out.
You sleep on the way over.
I do rule that out.
I don't, do you?
I do rule out that it was the movie choice on the flight. Yeah.
We're watching I Love You Man again?
Stugotz here. The most important things in my life are my wife, my children, and of course, their safety. That's why I've had Simply Safe Home Security in my house for 7 years now. I want you to have the same peace of mind that I and so many listeners experience every day, which is why I partnered with Simply Safe to offer listeners 50% off a system. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim it. Whether it's setting the alarms before we all go to bed or setting that alarm before we go on another vacation, Simply Safe gives me amazing peace of mind. Simply Safe provides faster response for better protection with Fast Protect monitoring and Live Guard protection. Protect your home with Simply Safe right now. Batard Show listeners can get 50% off any new Simply Safe system, plus a free indoor security camera with Fast Protect monitoring. Just visit simplysafe.com/DLB to claim this offer. It's for a limited time only, so be sure to order today. That's simplysafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like Simply Safe.